Alrighty, we got some breaking news coming right here. Dejounte Murray has been traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for some interesting things. This literally just happened. I've had no time to process it. So let's go through it. By the way, for those of you that watched the end of my last video, I ate it and it was good. And that's all I'll say. And I'm glad I did it. I'm a little bit full now. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go watch the end of the last video. But yeah, Dejounte Murray for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, the 2025 first round pick. I'm so sleep deprived. 2027 first round pick, least favorable of the Bucks and Pelicans. Yeah, honestly, that sounds about right. This is kind of what I figured would happen with the Dejounte Murray trade. And those of you that have been watching my channel have been kind of seeing what I meant by this. I'm like, I don't think it makes sense to just do and it really doesn't make much financial sense either to do a Dejounte Murray for just Brandon Ingram or something like that, because if they were to do that, they're kind of just keeping themselves in the same place. I'm I really just think that there's a way to make Dejounte Murray go to the Pelicans and them not having to give up Brandon Ingram. And I think they've done a great job with this, especially on the Pelicans end. Thinking about this from the Hawks' point of view, they get a couple first-round picks. Does this mean that they're starting the rebuild process, but with Trae Young still on the team? I guess that's what we're left to interpret it as right now. So you got two first-round picks. You got a Lakers 2025 first-round pick. Presumably it'll be but having 2025 first-round picks is valuable right now. And then a 2027 first-round pick, least favorable of Bucks and Pelicans. That could be a decent pick. You just have no idea at that point, but I'm going to presume that it's probably not at the end of the day, but you never know. You give up Larry Nance, you give up Dyson Daniels. Larry Nance Jr. was important to this team. Obviously, they picked up Yves Missy, so you don't really need that backup center spot from him anymore. Dyson Daniels was a guy that just didn't fit in the rotation. I feel like they were kind of trying to play him out of position, in all honesty, so I'll be curious to see what he can do in Atlanta. But yeah, no, this is huge for the Pelicans. Does this mean that they're going to re-sign Brandon Ingram? Because that's what I would do at this point. You just re-sign Ingram. Now all of a sudden you have a much better unit on your team with Dejounte Murray on there. I'm actually pretty surprised CJ McCollum wasn't in this trade, though, in some capacity. That's actually pretty crazy. Have we had any more news come through about this? New Orleans went 0-24 trailing. Yep. Okay, no, nothing all that interesting. But yeah, no, this is an interesting pickup for them. I think when I think about this from a basketball point of view, I think there's an immediate concern, and that has to do with operating areas, right? What do I mean by operating areas? That's the space on the floor that somebody wants to get to start trying to really get into their offense, right? And so what do we see? When I map this out in my head, and this is actually something I do for my business and stuff like that, I kind of make overlapping layers to people's shot charts and stuff like that to be okay, where are people going to start to get clustered in things like that, right? How do we avoid those? And when I think about this, Zion Williamson is a guy that can work without the basketball. Dejounte Murray has the basketball, but they're trying to get to the same spot on the court to start operating. That's a bit of a concern for me. Brandon Ingram, there's only one basketball, so we can only layer it so much, but Brandon Ingram wants to get to that same spot on the basketball floor. That's kind of that nail, kind of usually one of the wing areas a little bit. And now Zion's obviously trying to get that to then continue to go towards the rack, whereas the other two are trying to get the mid-range shot. It's a little bit of a concern to me that you've got two guys whose goal it is to get to a certain spot on the court where Zion's trying to run through. So that's an immediate concern of me, but I guess we'll see if they end up doing anything else with the roster. If you look at the roster on paper, it's got a ton of talent, and they've been looking for a true point guard to kind of lead this team and everything. Dejounte Murray's that guy. Sorry, I just had a hiccup. Like I said, I just ate all that stuff or whatever. Don't worry about it. But this is interesting. If you're a Hawks fan, you're probably a little bit sad about the return for this. You got the 2 first-round picks. You traded a bunch of picks to go get him, but you know what? It's like a car, right? As soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses some of its value. And I'm not saying Dejounte Murray's a bad player, because I think he's a good player. I mean, borderline all-star player if he's effectively playing his position, and he'll be able to do that a little bit more here. But do you have to stagger the minutes of these guys a little bit to get an effective team out of them? I don't necessarily know, but man, shout out the Pelicans, man. They really didn't give up anything all that crazy to go and make this happen. I think this is great for them. And like I said, I just don't know what else you were really gonna get for Dejounte if you're the Hawks. So you got the 2025 pick. I think you should feel solid about that. And at the very least, you're not just running it back with this team. I think if they made no other moves this offseason, I think I'd be a little bit bummed. I have to imagine in the coming days, we're going to see Clint Capella go. Maybe DeAndre Hunter goes or something like that. Because Trae Young probably safe. Sarr obviously safe, and some of the other guys that they have. Maybe they move a Kongwu or something like that. One of Capella and a Kongwu like has to move. Otherwise, you're really questioning what's going on in the brains of those people, right? But I would assume Jalen Johnson is safe because like you have a pretty accelerated rebuild if you tear down all those other pieces and acquire some more assets and everything, and then you try to move forward with just like Trae, Risache. Was I saying Sarr? Why was I saying Sarr? I'm so sorry. I'm so sleep deprived. Just leave me alone, okay? You just leave me alone. It's been a week. It's been a week. I should be able to sleep tonight after doing all the draft stuff I've been doing for the past week. But anyway, to recap, if you start rebuilding around like Trae Young, Risache, like Jalen Johnson, it's a great start. You're already doing a pretty good thing there. You could try to kind of retool this roster so it's a little bit more dynamic and stuff like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. So do you try to move on from like a Clint Capella or something like that still just because you feel like you can get some value for him? I don't know. Like what is the Hawks' goal for this season? That's what these next couple trades will kind of start to tell us. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. But if you're a Pelicans fan, like you should feel pretty good about this. Like while I have basketball concerns about this, I think it's interesting nonetheless, just because like you just are adding more talent, and he's a guy that's more on like the age timeline and everything for these guys. I have to imagine this means that Brandon Ingram's just going to come back to them. So I don't know. I just think that makes too much sense. They're just going to try to add Dejounte and get going. Maybe CJ McCollum is like on the move at some point, but I mean, if you can still keep CJ, I think you got a really interesting team then, because he doesn't have to do as much ball handling and stuff like that. He can just kind of be a spacer. Wonder what this means for like a Jordan Hawkins or something like that, right? Like, does he kind of lose some rotational spots or something like that during the year? Because he's a guy I just want to see them develop a little bit more, because I think he's a really interesting talent. But yeah, no, this is an interesting one right here. I have to imagine there's more trades to come. I can't imagine that the Hawks are done. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans did something else, but this is exciting stuff, man. This is exciting stuff. We just won't know, like I said, the Hawks stuff till a little bit further down the line, but no, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. I apologize, by the way, that I'm a little bit all over the place right now. Like I said, just sleep deprived. We're going to work on it. I'm going to go into a food coma probably right after this video, so if any more trades fucking happen, I'm not here to deal with it. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. As always, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point. Don't be a dick in the comment section, otherwise I'll have to warn you, and then I'll hide you and you won't get to participate anymore. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments about this trade. Thanks so much. Bye.